Welcome to Wasatch Weekends for this Saturday, August 12th edition. I'm your host, Ben Roof. On today's show, we've got Nuzzles Co introducing us to an adorable adoptable pup. And then we're also hearing from Tracy Miller, who's going to show us a delicious tortilla and chicken soup recipe. But first, a quick local announcement. Oktoberfest at Snowbird is a family-friendly event that kicks off today and is going to run every weekend until mid-October on Saturdays and Sundays from noon till 6 p.m. It's a fantastic family-friendly event with food, vendors, and of course, beverages. It's one of the biggest festivals in Utah, so make sure to check it out. It has free admission. But let's take a quick look at that local weather before we head off to Snowbird's Oktoberfest.
This weather report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
Welcome back to Wasatch Weekends. We are once again joined by our friends over at Nuzzles Co, who've got their furry friend of the week to share with us today. Welcome to the show.
Hi guys, thank you so much for having us. We have Piper with us today.
Awesome. And so, McKenna, tell us a little bit about Piper. She looks like she's quite a sweet pup, especially with those big ears.
Oh yes, she is definitely a sweetheart, a people lover for sure. She is 4 years old and has been with us almost a year, unfortunately. But she's such a lovable pup, and she comes completely house trained. And show off a little bit of her tricks. Can you sit? Oh, you doing shake for me? Shake. Oh, good girl. And you lay down? Oh, so good. So she knows her tricks. She's super well behaved. She won't jump up on furniture unless you ask her to. So if we ask her to, she'll jump up, but she won't jump up until you give her.
Those treats are not safe anymore.
Yeah, she's a really good though. She's definitely a well-behaved pup. And she's just waiting for the right person to come see her and take her home.
And where did she come from?
So she is one of our reservation dogs. She came out from one of the reservations and has just been looking for a home since. So she was a stray out there and went into the shelter, and because it's a high kill shelter, we go out there and rescue them from out there all the time just to give them a chance at a home.
And well, she's been at Nuzzles Co. She's had quite an opportunity to socialize with the other dogs and get a lot of playing in too. So you guys have gotten a pretty good feel for her temperament, right?
Yeah, she's been with Nuzzles Co for a while, and then she also was in a foster home for a really long time. So they got to see a lot of her home life and got to help her with her house training and everything. So they know how well behaved she is in a house and how well she does around other people.
Well, does she have much experience with other dogs or cats in the house?
So she does not do well with cats. She kind of wants to eat them. And she's a little bit selective of her dog friends, probably because she grew up on the reservation. Not all the dogs are friendly. So she can be a little bit weary of her dog friends. But she does do pretty well going out just on walks and stuff. Her foster mom has been taking her out on lots of public outings. They were just at Park Silly the other weekend, and we got to say hi to both of them, and she was walking around and smiling and doing super, super good with all the other dogs around her. So she's come a long, long way. But yeah, she's definitely not super friendly towards everyone because, you know, you can't just like everyone. But yeah. She definitely can choose her friends, and once she chosen her friends, then she's like, oh, you're my buddy.
So it sounds like she might be a great fit for a one dog house. but not
Yeah.
necessarily for somebody who's already got a furry friend at home. So
Yep. So that's kind of the home she's looking for.
let me ask you this. You guys have a couple of events coming up this weekend, one today and then another one tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, so we have an event coming up today. It's called our gala. It's our annual gala. It's a really big event. It's at the Pendry Hotel. So we're going to be there with a whole bunch of guests. We're going to have a live auction. We're going to have a silent auction. We're going to have dancing. We're going to have cocktails. It's going to be a super fun event. It's something we look forward to every year. Tickets have sold out for it, but we definitely want people to look forward to next year because we do it every year and it's such a fun event. We're going to have puppies there for people to snuggle, and so they'll get to hear a lot of our rescue stories while seeing puppies there and getting to cuddle them, and it's going to be a really fun event.
And of course, you guys are going to be at the Park Silly Sunday Market this week as well, too, right?
So Park Silly is actually not going on for the whole month of August. They have a whole bunch of other events, but we will be there starting September 3rd.
Oh.
That's when it starts back up. So that's when we'll be there, and we look forward to seeing you guys all there.
Since we can't get you guys at the Park Silly Market this week, where can people stop by to meet some dogs or meet her?
So they can come to our ranch. We are open 7 days a week, 12 to 6, or our adoption center at the Kimball Junction outlets in Park City. And so we have 2 locations, and they're both pretty close by. They're only 15 minutes apart from each other. And you can go ahead and call ahead to see which dogs are at which location. She'll most likely be at our ranch location. And then we send a lot of the puppies and other dogs to the adoption center.
Totally. I wish I could have a chance to come meet some of those puppies at the adoption center today. Now, one more question before I let you go. How can people find some more information about Nuzzles Co? And if they're not able to make it to the fundraiser tonight, is there a way for them to donate?
Of course. So even if you can't make it to our fundraiser tonight, the silent auction is available online, and you can go ahead and look at our silent auction items even if you don't attend. So that's super fun, and you can go ahead and bid on things even when you're not there. We also have our website, nuzzlesandco.org, where you can just donate directly and look through all of our stories. You can look through our adoptable animals. Even if you're not looking to adopt, it's kind of fun to scroll through there and see all their pictures and get some information about the animals that we have here. And then also you can check us out on our social media pages. We're active on Instagram and Facebook, always posting updates on there, and you can see the adoptable animals and the events we're up to and things like that.
Well, awesome. Make sure to go to Nuzzles Co and check out all the adoptable friends, and if you're able, donate through their website. We'll be right back after a short message. Welcome back to the show. Tracy Miller of Colorful Cooking has got a tortilla and chicken soup recipe that she's going to show us that's going to be great for any guests that we might have coming home this weekend.
It's getting hot in the kitchen again, or it will really soon. Hi there, I'm Tracy Miller with Colorful Cooking, and this is the cooking show where we're gonna let you know how to cook healthy and how to make it easy. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so what I'm doing now today is thinking about all those busy parents or all those busy worker bees that get home late at night and want a healthy dinner, but you want it to be prepped before you get home. So today we're doing soup and salad. I'm gonna do a chicken tortilla soup and a cauliflower salad with a lemon tahini dressing. So that's going to be a really exciting salad, and you can of course make it early and then assemble it right when you're ready to go and put the dressing on it right when you're ready to eat it. And the soup, you can either keep it on your stove, it's kind of a quick soup, or you can put it in your crock pot and let it cook slow all day long. So let's first start off with the soup. Today our chicken tortilla soup is going to have chicken breast, which are cut into small pieces. I'm going to get my pan nice and warm with a little bit of olive oil on the bottom. Now I like to use olive oil because it's the healthiest oil out there, and of course the more and more that you can eat the healthy oils and cook with the healthy oils, the healthier you're going to be. So this is very heart healthy. And I like to stick with olive oil too as my oil in general because I don't really want 18 different oils on my counter and me have to decide every time. Coconut oil would be another great option because it can withstand a high heat. So we're just going to get this pan heated up, because when we put our chicken breast that's already chopped up in the pan, we want to hear that sizzle. When you're building a soup, when you're building the base of a soup, you want to have those little brown bits. You know, sometimes when you walk away from your oven and you're like, oh no, I burnt it. Don't think that when you're making soup, because what you're gonna do is those little burnt pieces are actually gonna give you nice flavor. Those are like the base of your flavor. So whether you're cooking a meat or a chicken soup, if you just let it sit there for a few minutes and get those brown pieces and then stir it around, that's gonna be a nice base of flavor for your soup. A lot of times when I'm teaching cooking classes, I have to tell people that they're over stirrers. They just sit there and stir everything way too much, and you want to get those pieces on the bottom so that you have a lot of flavor. Okay, so when you're starting off a soup, typically in French soups you have something called a mirepoix, and that is onion, carrot, and celery. But today we're making kind of a southwestern Mexican style soup, and we are going to have our mirepoix is going to be onions, garlic, green pepper, and jalapeno pepper, because we're going to get a little bit of that flair going on in there. So I'm going to start chopping up the onions. As my pan is starting to heat up, I can actually feel the heat, so I think we're going to get a sizzle pretty soon. We're going to do about a cup of onion. And then now this is going to be delicious for you, but also really healthy, because the onions are filled with antioxidants, and they're going to fight everything during cold and flu season. So the more onions, if you like onions a lot, add a few more, cook them down. They're going to taste delicious. They won't have that super raw feeling, but if you do want to put them on after, you know, as your little topping, then that would be nice as well. Okay, so my pan is warm. I have already made my spice mix, and whenever I'm making soups, I make my spice mix to start things off. So this spice mix is filled with salt and pepper, cumin, a little coriander, and some chili pepper, because I am going with the Mexican theme. So here we go. We're going to really stir that around so we get nice coverage with our soup. With our chicken, we want it well seasoned, and hopefully you can hear that sizzle. This is going to give us a lot of flavor. I'm going to spread the chicken around in my pan, because you always want to spread everything around on your pan so that it all gets even coverage on the base of where it's cooking. I'm going to put a little more of my spices so they're nice and covered. This is going to be the base flavor of our soup, so we really want to kind of over season it just a little bit. All right, while that gets seared up, I have cauliflower actually starting to roast in the oven. Now, cauliflower might be intimidating a little bit because it's this big old head wrapped in cellophane. All I do is take my knife and cut right through the middle. That opens it up, and then you can kind of pick off the florets from that. So that's what I've done already. I have cut up the cauliflower into small little pieces. I have it roasting in the oven at 400 degrees with olive oil and salt and pepper. And now what happens with the cauliflower is the smaller that you cook it, the smaller you cut it, the quicker it's going to cook. Now I kind of kept it at a decent size because it will shrink a little while you're cooking it. We're going to cook it at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. Another thing that I'm going to do for our cauliflower salad is it's going to have roasted chickpeas on it. We actually have a lot of beans in the recipes today, so if you are going to have to be a late night diner, you're going to be happy because we have low fat protein for you. So your dreams won't be too weird, like if you're eating a steak sandwich at 10 o'clock at night, go to bed and you have all these crazy dreams and you're like, what's going on? Well, I ate steak after 9. So on the chickpeas, which of course are low in fat, high in protein, and delicious when you roast them up, I have a mixture of oregano and salt and pepper. Parsley is delicious with chickpeas, but we are going to add fresh parsley to this salad. Really cover these chickpeas too. Do not be shy in your seasoning ever. As you take a look at the chickpeas, you'll see they have tons of seasoning on them. As you take a look at the chicken that's cooking up, you'll see that it has tons of seasoning on it as well. So this is kind of nice because it's one pan for the salad. This is going to be our cauliflower salad that will have roasted cauliflower, roasted chickpeas. We're also going to add some parsley to it and some lettuce, some baby lettuce. So let's pop that back in the oven and get it going at 400. Both of those take about 20 minutes to roast up. I'm gonna stir this chicken now because I've let it sit long enough that it's gonna be kind of charred up and a little stuck to the bottom, and that's what we want. So we'll get that chicken stirred up. It's definitely not cooked all the way yet, and I wanna sear it a little bit more because I kind of want every side to have a little sear. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna crank this up a little bit. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. Remember before when I was talking about being an overstirrer? This is a point in time where you can sort of be an overstirrer, but you really wanna make sure you get that sizzle and that crust on one side. So we're gonna let this cook up. I'm gonna get my green pepper chopped up. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we return, adding more to this super simple chicken tortilla soup.
This weather report is brought to you by Sun & Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
Welcome back to the show. Soup can be a little bit complicated, but Tracy is doing a great job of simplifying things for us, and she just threw some cauliflower in the oven. So let's catch up with her and see how things are going.
Welcome back to Colorful Cooking. I am Tracy Miller, and today we are making a meal that you can prep early, and if you have to work late or the kids are in sports and you're not eating until later, you're gonna have a healthy, hot, delicious meal ready on the fly. It's chicken tortilla soup and cauliflower salad. The cauliflower and the chickpeas are roasting in the oven right now, and this is chicken breast that I have cut up. Now, we talked a little bit about how we want that chicken to really form a crust before we get going, and it really has. It's got a lot of seasoning on it. It's cooked up nicely, and what I'm gonna do now is pull out the chicken, and I'm going to just let it rest for a minute because we are going to get our aromatics kicking in the pan. What does that mean? It means your garlic and onions, and in this case, what starts off the chicken tortilla soup is garlic, onions, green pepper, and jalapeno pepper. And of course, if you don't like the spice, if you can't take the heat, don't put the jalapeno pepper in there, okay? So I'm just gonna let that chicken just chill out right there for a minute. I have another pan starting to heat up. Okay, this baby's gonna be really hot. See, I cranked it, so it's getting hot, it's steaming. The crusty parts are on the bottom, which is exactly what we want. I'm gonna add a tiny, tiny bit of oil right now, and then I'm gonna put the onions in there, and onions and peppers. What's gonna happen when these onions and peppers start to cook is their natural juices are going to secrete, and they are gonna deglaze the pan. So deglazing the pan is what is essential when you are making soups or sauces or anything like that. You have the nice brown bits that I can't stop talking about right here on the bottom, and then now you're gonna put the veggies in, and you're gonna let those veggies start to pretty much just simmer in the pan, and they're gonna get juicy, and then they're going to help deglaze that pan. So I have one whole green pepper and a half a huge onion. So it really turns out to be close to equal parts green pepper and onion, little extra green pepper. So we're gonna get that green pepper in there. And of course, if you're somebody that's sensitive to green peppers and you prefer the red pepper, you can do whatever you want. You can put whatever kind of pepper you want in there. The green pepper is actually just gives it a little more of a bite than the red pepper. The red pepper is gonna be a little bit sweeter than the green pepper, so you're going to get kind of a sweeter flavor in there, which could be a counterbalance if you are using a jalapeno. So, you know, think about that if you want. And actually the red pepper has like 3 times the amount of vitamin C that the green pepper does, because the green pepper is kind of the baby And the red pepper is the big sister because the red pepper is the green pepper, but on the vine for a couple months longer. So that makes it more sweet and it just boosts up that vitamin C huge. Alrighty, so we've got our peppers starting. The pan is not deglazing yet, but you can see that the colors from the parts on the bottom are starting to change the color of the onions and the peppers. So our plan is working, my friends. All right, I'm just gonna put a half a jalapeno in here. Me, I love jalapenos. I absolutely love them. I don't take the seeds out of them, but if you're making this for like lots of people or kids or something, this is called the membrane and those are the seeds, and that's where you're gonna get your spice. So if you don't want spice from your green pepper, get rid of those. Me, I like a little kick. I'm not gonna put too much in there. So we are going to just kind of roughly chop this, and then we're gonna let it cook with the onions and peppers. So the heat from this is gonna be juicy and it's gonna get right around the onions and peppers. So first of all, you're probably thinking this is a very interesting knife that I'm working with today because here at the TV8 kitchen, I usually bring my own knives, but I forgot it today. So I had to look around and I got this old school knife, and I had to say to everybody here in the studio, hey, this is a really great knife because it's sharp. So whenever you're working with knives in your kitchen, the sharper the knife, the safer it's gonna be. That sounds crazy, right? But if you are using a dull knife, then what you're doing is you're pushing through your food. And when you're pushing through your food, it's going to tear your food, and it's also gonna wiggle around a little bit. So you might not get the best coverage, and you're definitely gonna have a little trouble and more likely to cut yourself. Okay, everything's cooking here. It's over a medium-low heat. I have this frying pan over a low heat. I'm gonna crank that up just a little bit. And what we're gonna do now is just make some tortilla strips for the top of our soup when it's done. Everybody loves these because they just kind of add a little bit of crunch. So just slice them thin like this. These are corn tortillas, so this is gonna be a gluten-free soup. And a masa flour can be replaced for the corn tortillas in the soup. But of course, if you want these little tortilla sticks on top, you really have to use the tortilla and fry them up. Super easy to do this, and everybody loves it. It kind of elevates the soup a little bit. So what we're gonna do is put our pan with some olive oil, a decent amount, because you want the tortillas to kind of fry up a little bit. So we'll put those with a decent amount, and then we're gonna put those in there. Give them some space, like I was saying about the chicken. Don't burn yourself or anything. I think my hands are immune to it now, but just give it some space and let those fry up. We're gonna check in the oven right now and see how that cauliflower is doing and see how those chickpeas are doing. If they're starting to get crispy, we're in good shape, but sometimes it takes a little longer. And when you're working with fresh ingredients, you always have to check everything. So here we go. They're looking good. This is what I want to see on that cauliflower, is when you flip it over, you've got those little brown marks again. That's going to be the theme of our show today. I'm going to close this down and let it cook for a few more minutes. We are going to put corn and black beans into our soup once we get it rolling. And I just want you to know, like, whenever you're using cans of beans, rinse them off first because they're filled with sodium to preserve them in the can. But if you actually rinse the beans off, then you're gonna really, really lessen that sodium. I think it's by half or even more. So just rinse your beans off before you put them in. Sometimes you wanna say, okay, but I like that juice, Tracy. Don't like the juice, it's full of sodium, and we can make our own juice right here, which is what we're gonna do now. So my peppers and my onions are cooking up in this soup. You can cook that for a little bit longer if you want to, but we're gonna add 1 can of fire roasted diced tomatoes. And don't be afraid of the canned stuff. Canned tomatoes that are processed, it makes it easier to get the lycopene that's in the tomato that's really, really healthy for you and super duper healthy for men too. So don't be afraid of canned stuff. Don't be afraid of canned tomatoes. Some other things you might be afraid of, but I like canned tomatoes and beans. All right, there we go. We got a little juice going in there now with those canned tomatoes. We're gonna put chicken broth in as well. And then I'm gonna put the chicken in. We're gonna bring it to a boil. and then we're gonna put the corn and the black beans in there and just let it simmer. And that's the point where you can let it simmer for the rest of the day if you want. You can switch it to your crock pot if you want, or you can turn it off and just heat it up when you get home later tonight. So right now we have green pepper, onion, garlic, jalapeno, a can of tomatoes, and chicken broth. Now I'm gonna add my chicken breast. I'm gonna crank this up. When it comes to a boil, we're gonna add the black beans and the corn, and then we have our soup ready to simmer. We're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna clean up a little bit. When we return, we're assembling that cauliflower salad. I'm making a lemon tahini dressing that you are gonna love. And we're gonna get our tortilla strips all ready for dinner time. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the show. The Park City Chamber of Commerce has been providing us with a fantastic series called Small Town Stories. And up next, they're going to show us Align Spa.
Welcome to Small Town Stories presented by the Park City Chamber. Right now we have Amy and Kelly from Align Spa joining us. I'm looking forward to learning more about them, what brought them to Park City, and what it's like running a business here in our small local town. Thank you both of you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So Align Spa is the oldest spa in Park City, especially on Main Street. Tell me more about it.
Well, we opened in 2003 over at the Shadow Ridge Hotel, actually. And then the owner is Harriet McIntyre. She grew up here in Park City and was a massage therapist and decided she wanted to have her own spa, and been here ever since. We did move over to our newer location over off of Bonanza Drive. When was that?
2007.
7. Yeah.
2007. So we've been in that location for 15 years.
Yeah.
And Kelly, what would you say is the key to longevity in having a business, especially in Park City?
That's a good question. I think a big part of it is having a happy and loyal staff. You know, spa industry there can be a lot of turnover in that industry. And then, not that Park City is so seasonal anymore, but for a long time it was more seasonal. And so I think we've really tried hard to make sure that we're taking care of our employees, that they feel supported and that they're, you know, treated well and treated with respect. And that, you know, that comes out in the way they treat their clients and the work that they perform. And so then the client is getting, you know, that much better of an experience, and they just want to continue coming back and back.
It's that atmosphere that Align Spa is so well known for, and there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. Amy, tell me about that.
We have done a lot of work as far as like energy work. We have crystal grids, things hidden around. We've had someone come in and do feng shui in all the rooms and every space that we have. Harriet's done, and Adam, her husband, have created some things there that supposed to basically bring in, that calm feeling, that
clean energy.
And keep moving through so there's nothing sitting there stagnant, making it feel unwelcome or anything like that. We try to be as accommodating and peaceful as possible.
Something that the clients recognize right away, but they're not always aware of the effort behind the scenes. I'm curious, what brought the two of you to Align Spa, Kelly?
So I'd been working at a spa up in Deer Valley for a couple years, and I was looking for a change. I'd been in the spa industry for about 5 years at that point, and so I just went to Align. I met Harriet, interviewed with Harriet. I'd been doing massage as well as some management experience. And so she hired me on as a massage therapist, but I also helped out at the front desk. I helped her kind of implement some new treatments, you know, using my experience where I'd been before. and we worked really well together. And then when we moved over to the new location, we had 2 locations for a little bit. That first winter, we still had our location at Shadow Ridge, and then we had one at Bonanza. So I was kind of made to be in charge of the Bonanza location, and then just have been there ever since. I still do massage. I have lots of regular clients that have been seeing me for years and years and years, and then also just kind of do all the day-to-day behind the scenes.
What about you, Amy?
Oh man, so I was at the U, also started massage school, and Harriet walked in. I was working at, I don't know if anybody will remember this, Copy Depot up here as like part-time. And she came in and was like, I'm opening this spa. And we were doing her brochures and stuff for her, and I kind of to her side and I'm like, are you hiring at all? Because I was really interested, and I was going into the spa industry anyway. And she brought me on as a receptionist. Really quickly after that, just moved up. Yeah, kind of in the same regard as Callie, just helping her with just trying to run a new business in Park City and all those little bumps that you get to go through. But yeah, I did take a little hiatus when I had my daughter, my oldest, and came back, and Callie was there, and I was doing massage too. I'm a massage therapist as well, and all facets of the spa. So,
and you grew up in Park City. What
I
made
did.
you want to come back and work here and be a part of this environment?
I don't think I ever really left, just physically, but mentally, I ski, and our clientele, and like we big local clientele, like just knowing people and getting to know. We still have that local feel, and getting to know people, seeing people I already knew, and like their kids and all of that. I can't quit it. I love Park City.
We love to hear that.
Yeah.
And Kelly, you grew up somewhere else, but here you are for work.
Yeah. I grew up in Southern California, but I've been here in Utah since 2004, and been with Align since 2006, and I've just loved it. And kind of the same with Amy. Just love the clients. You know, it's fun to get to know people, and you see their kids grow up, and you go through all their great things in life that they go through and everything. And so you really do start to have friendships and relationships with the clients, and I don't think you get that a lot of other places. And it's always fun when we go to some kind of an event, a mixer, or a meeting or something, and we see our clients out and about. It's always great to see them and know their kids. How are your kids doing? And how's your husband doing? And are you enjoying retirement? And to be able to know all those things that I don't think a lot of other businesses get to know their clients as well as we do. And so I really enjoy that aspect of it, for sure.
And what is it about this industry and about being a massage therapist that made you want to do this back in the beginning when you made the career choice of what to do?
Yeah, I'd been studying at Utah State for sports medicine, and in my second year I was trained in massage, and I just felt like that was my calling. Like, I loved using my hands. I loved how I saw the benefits and how it helped the athletes. I didn't really have any intention to go into spa until I went to massage school, and then that's where I kind of learned more about the spa industry. And so I thought, oh, this sounds really great. And I was really drawn to it. I love working with clients, especially when they have specific needs, and you can really help bring them relief, and they can keep coming back to you over and over. That it's a good feeling to know that you're helping somebody else, and you're also making a friend at the same time.
And what is it for you, Amy, that drew you in?
I'm not really sure exactly how I got into massage, because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up. So I was like, I like giving massages, and I love getting massages, so let's try massage school. And then kind of just getting into to Align Spot around the same time, and it's a lot less stress. Like, as far as a job goes, I mean, the most stress would maybe be like, I'm going to be late or something like that, you know, like, but you're in this environment that everybody is there to relax or to get help and to have that feeling of helping somebody as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, like you said,
Yeah.
making friends and relationships with people I work with and people that come in and see me. I've had some clients since 2003 that still live here and had been coming to me.
Yeah.
A long time, so yeah.
And Align Spa has had many accolades. It's really the place to be, the place that everyone
I
wants to
hope
be.
so.
So how can we get more information, find out all the services offered there? I know you also have a retreat center in Costa Rica, and you have an orthopedic chiropractor on staff. There's so much that we didn't even get into. So how can we get more information, get an appointment, and find out all those?
The best thing is just go to the website. There it has a list of all of our services. It talks about our membership program. It also has a bio on Dr. Malin, our chiropractor, as well as a link to the Lanctuary, which is the location down in Costa Rica. Our phone number's on there. You can also contact us through the website as well. So the website is the best way. We also are on Instagram, so you can search us up on Instagram as well. We post a lot of stuff on there just about either events we have coming up or specials that we're doing. We do a lot of our staff highlights on the Instagram as well, so you can kind of get to know our different staff members and their different specialties and techniques that they offer.
We have some therapists that have been there since I hired them back in 2003. So it's kind of nice to see we don't have a very high turnover, so you can actually get to know some of these people that would be working on you. It's alignspa.com, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, both of you, Kelly and Amy, for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure hearing your small town story, hearing more about Align Spa, the history, and we're so grateful that you both are right here in Park City and for Align Spa. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, thanks again for tuning into Small Town Stories, sponsored by the Park City Chamber. We'll be back with more right after this.
Welcome back to Wasatch Weekends. Tracy Miller just threw some delicious looking tortillas in the oven to crisp them up for her soup. So let's see how she finishes that up.
It's getting hot in here and we are roasting cauliflower and chickpeas. The chickpeas are tossed in salt and pepper and oregano, and that's going to be for our roasted cauliflower salad. The tahini dressing is something we're about to make as well. Feels good by the oven. Everything is looking good on there. They're all roasted up nicely. The cauliflower has some great color to it, and so do the chickpeas, and they feel like they're a little bit crispy too. Sometimes those chickpeas can take a little while to get crispy, but this is a snack that you'll absolutely love if you're a fan of chickpeas. Okay, we're gonna hold off on this for 1 second, and we're gonna get back to the soup. You see that this soup is boiling like crazy right now, and that's what I wanted it to do at this point. What we're gonna do now, and this is what I was talking about with the masa. You can either use masa flour, about 1/8 of a cup, or you can use corn tortillas, and you just rip them up and put them in the boiling soup. And this is gonna give it that tortilla flavor. And I also have my fried tortillas right here so that we can really kind of have that chicken tortilla flavor that we are naming the soup. So I'm just gonna rip up one of these, actually 2 of these, real small. What's gonna happen is they'll start to disintegrate and then the flavor will come out in the soup. And this is a corn tortilla, so it is gluten-free. So for all your gluten friends, your gluten-free friends, or for you, then this can be a nice soup for you that's gonna be hearty and have a little body to it, because that masa or those corn tortillas are really gonna give it a nice flavor. Okay, so we're gonna let that boil for another probably 2 or 3 minutes or so just to soften up those tortillas. Meanwhile, I'm gonna dump a 1/2 can of beans in there, depending on how much you like beans, and about 1 cup of corn. This is just a really colorful, beautiful soup. and it's so healthy for you. Low in fat as well, especially using the chicken breast. If you ever want to use chicken thighs in a soup, which sometimes I do as well because they have a little more flavor, it's that brown meat. Look at the color on that. Oh, this is a nice soup. It really looks good. I'm gonna actually add a little more of my seasoning mix, and once again, the seasoning mix is salt and pepper, cumin, coriander, and chili powder. This is what's gonna give it its flavor because, of course, our chicken broth was just a plain chicken broth, so we need to give it flavor with the spices that we put in there. And of course, the more spices and herbs you can get in your life, the healthier you're gonna be. All right, we're gonna let that bad boy boil for just a little bit longer, and we're gonna work on our cauliflower salad. So cauliflower is so delicious, so good for you, and it goes really nicely with parsley. So I'm gonna thickly chop up some fresh Italian parsley. I prefer the Italian parsley. It has bigger leaves and it has a big flavor. And so I have some mixed greens here. These are baby greens. So when you're buying baby greens, just be careful because they go bad really, really fast because they're little babies, you know, and they're very perishable. So when you're looking at the container, buy one that you know is the size that you're gonna eat, and make sure there's no water in the container when you buy it because that water is really gonna destroy those. So I have some sliced apples, and I use apples or cranberries for this salad. I have the mixed greens, and then I have the beautiful parsley that we're gonna put right on top there. Okay, so now we're going to get some of our cauliflower. If you haven't eaten cauliflower roasted like this, it's delicious. It actually kind of tastes like popcorn. It gets those burnt pieces and it's so good. It's really a fun, delicious way to get your veggies in. Okay, so we're gonna top that with some cauliflower. And then our chickpeas are nice and crispy. And again, this is another good snack. I mean, if you're working in an office and you need that little 3 o'clock pick-me-up, chickpeas and cauliflower, really? I mean, you might not want to open the container of cauliflower at work because it's definitely stinky, but it tastes really good and very good for you. Okay, so there we go. We've got crispy chickpeas that are coated in salt and pepper and oregano. We have cauliflower. You can use cranberries or apples, mixed greens, and parsley. That's the salad, but the best part of this salad is actually the salad dressing. So let's get to making the salad dressing, and I'm gonna make it in this bowl right here. And it's pretty easy, and it's extremely delicious. So what we do with this is this is my cheater. So if you don't want to cheat, don't get like a lemon pepper marinade, but this is what I like to do just to kind of loosen up the tahini. You can also do fresh lemon, but this is just kind of a quick way to make a delicious sauce. So I'm going to take about 2 tablespoons of the lemon. So this is lemon and olive oil. So if you're doing it all fresh, lemon and olive oil is enough. And then we are going to get the tahini. Now this is such a great ingredient. It's sesame paste. It gives you a really unique flavor and it goes so well with cauliflower. So we're gonna do about equal parts. So another 2 tablespoons of that. I'm gonna get some salt and pepper on here. And my tahini is pretty liquefied right now. Sometimes that's not the case, but it is. And so I'm just gonna stir this up. If you would like it less thick, add a little bit of water. No big deal. You can just add a little tiny bit of water to that, or a little shot of maple syrup if you need some sweetness to it. So that's gonna be our salad dressing that goes with our salad. You can prep the salad all the way to this point, and then when you get home and you're ready for dinner, then you can put the sauce right on top of it. So now we are going to get a bowl for our soup. Let me see, I'm just gonna move a few things around here for a second. Get rid of these hot pans as you take a look at that salad. And I'm gonna go get a bowl. This had a little chicken in it before. It had the cooked chicken, and actually I had meant to make the salad dressing in this bowl because this is the kind of bowl that you would typically eat a chowder out of, and that deep bowl over there is what you would eat more of a soup like this for. So I'm totally messing up the bowls here, but I don't think anybody really cares too much about that. I'm gonna turn the soup down. We have this just delicious soup, and you can see that the tortillas have kind of melted in there. Look how many veggies and colors there are. This is colorful cooking right here, folks. This is what I like to see. A hot soup, lots of nice broth, lots of colors, lots of vitamins and minerals in there. And now let's wreck it all by putting some fried tortilla strips on top. This is gonna give it great flavor. It's delicious. I have a little cilantro as well to brighten it up, and then a little avocado. And there you go. There is your chicken tortilla soup and your delicious cauliflower salad with a tahini dressing. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope this gives you a couple good ideas on how you can make a dinner and be prepared if you're coming home late at night. I'm Tracy Miller, and this is Colorful Cooking.
This weather report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in, and make sure to check out some of those fantastic events and businesses throughout Park City, including that Oktoberfest over at Snowbird. Now, we'll be back tomorrow, and until then, I'm Ben Roof. This is Wasatch Weekends. Thank you so much for watching.